fixing a leaky faucet won't help if your pipes are bursting underground. In this episode, we are going to practice the art of discernment so that you can see as a leader if you are solving the problem or a symptom of the problem. Stay tuned.
Before we dive in, let me tell you about the book that started a podcasting revolution, Make Every Podcast Want You. It is not just a bestseller, it is a 2-time gold medalist, baby. This book is your ultimate guide to landing dream podcast interviews, building authority authentically, and making your voice the one they remember. If you've got a message and a mission, this is your mic drop moment. Grab your copy today in the link below and step into the spotlight that you were born for.
Welcome to the Crown Yourself podcast, where together we build your empire and transform your subconscious stories about what's possible for your business, body, and life. I'm your host, Kimberly Spencer, founder of CrownYourself.com, and I'm a master mindset coach, best-selling author, TEDx speaker, known to my clients as a game changer. Each week, you get the conscious leadership strategies you need to help you reign with courage, clarity, and confidence so that you too can make the income and impact you deserve. Imagine this podcast as your royal invitation to step into your full potential and reign in your divine purpose. Your sovereignty starts here, and your reign is now. Hey there, I'm Kimberly Spencer, your high-performance coach and subconscious business success strategist and founder of CrownYourself.com. And if you hear a little gurgling in the background, that is just my daughter. She is here bouncing in the Bjorn with me as we do some podcast batching, baby. And on a Friday, and it's a great day, but on whatever day you're listening to this, I'm so glad that you're here, because today we are diving into the continuation of our series on problem solving, because over the past, I would say 4 months, in having conversations with high-performing leaders, I have seen that so many people right now in the world are struggling with solving their problems. And it's different than in the past where people have, they solve a problem, it's just a different, I think we just don't have the tools, quite frankly. And this podcast series on problem solving, I am really excited to dive into, because I want you to be equipped to solve your problems on your own. Yes, having a coach is great. Whether you choose to work with me or not, that's totally fine. I would love it if it feels aligned. If not, I totally get it. And even if you don't, I want you to have the tools to solve your own problems, because ultimately, my goal is for greater sovereignty with each individual, so that you have sovereignty and ownership and personal accountability and the tools to solve your own problems. So, a lot of times, though, we will think that we're solving a problem when we're only solving a symptom of the problem. And I see this so often in business specifically. I had a client who came to me, and she came to me, actually, she didn't come to me as a client. She came to me looking to enroll me for her summit. And we got to chatting, and I was just like, I'm very discerning as to which summits I say yes to, because in the summit building strategy, there are many pieces with that I have disagreements on, as far as the level of integrity that happens from it. And that's a topic for another podcast episode, and it's in terms of marketing, with marketing alignment and integrity. But I started asking this woman these questions, and I said, well, why do you like doing summits? And she's like, I don't really like doing summits. And I was like, oh, okay. So why hosting one? Why are you inviting me to speak at one? And then I said, well, when it comes to, how many of these have you done? And she'd done a couple. And I said, well, what have been the results? And she said, oh, my list has grown. And I was like, have you converted any sales from this summit building strategy that you have been taught in a program? And she was like, no. And I just sat back and I said, And I looked at her and I said, look, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to turn down the opportunity to be a part of your summit, but I would like to invite you to look at why you're building this summit strategy.
when you don't like attending summits yourself and you haven't seen the results. And from that extended into a longer term conversation and into a coaching relationship, which was beautiful. And she got amazing results from our coaching program with the Queen Bee Business Builder. But it came from alignment, because the problem she thought she had was this strategy of the funnel, of this marketing strategy to build a list. And it wasn't necessarily the strategy. It was the fact that the solution she was looking for was not in alignment with what she actually liked doing for her business. And that's the hard part about being in business, especially growing an online business, when there is every opportunity and all strategies work. Let me be clear, all strategies work. Not all strategies will work for you, because all strategies work for some people, but not all strategies will work for you. And the reason this one didn't work was like attracts like. And so she didn't like doing summits. She didn't like going on to summits. She didn't like signing up for summits. She didn't purchase anything from any summits that she had attended, nor did she even really attend them. She had just signed up for them. And so when I looked at this pattern, I said, well, gee, I wonder who you're attracting to your summit. Like, you're probably attracting more of yourself, more people who sign up for things that they don't intend on taking, and they don't show up, and that those may not be the people you want coming into your courses and into your business. And when we flipped her strategy into one that was more aligned, that felt good for her, that was in how she liked to do business, in ways that she'd been successful before, but she didn't think she could translate that into the online space, it was a game changer. But it wasn't the offer. It wasn't even the strategy. It was the fact that the strategy subconsciously did not work for her. So we often look at symptoms. We often look at a problem, like say a problem is lead generation or a problem is conversion. And we look at surface fixes to reach for, to like solve these problems. And a lot of times that's us looking outside of ourselves to someone else to give us the guidance and the solution. So this can look like to-do lists for overwhelm. This can look like hustling for inconsistent income. This can look like strategy tweaks that for, either your low energy or for low converting marketing tactics. This can be hiring help when what's actually needed is inner clarity. And I see this a lot with people who go on hiring sprees, myself included. I've made this mistake, especially when you start earning greater revenue and you're like, ooh, I have the revenue to hire more people. Not necessarily do you need those people. Maybe what you need is actually more clarity to double down on like what's actually working rather than expanding your capacity. Because if the root of the problem is actually fear or unworthiness or internal conflict or a lack of alignment, then no strategy is going to stick. So we want to start with what is the symptoms that you're facing that look like a problem from the outside, because your symptoms of a problem are just feedback loops. Your system, your nervous system, your belief systems, your business systems will always point to where the misalignment lives. So maybe the misalignment is in your consistency. For example, we had a misalignment. I have been preaching and reveling in the system of profit first by Mike Malkowitz since 2020, when we skyrocketed our profits 300%, grew them again in 150% in 2021, stabilized in 2022, and then just like it all went downhill in 2023 and 2024. And why? Because of the consistency of me actually implementing those business systems. I started to think I could tweak it. I started to think, oh, I'll just, I'll do it kind of, instead of going all in. Oof. Do not make my mistake, please, queens. Your system will always point to where misalignment lives. So we don't solve systems with tactics. We shift patterns with presence and with pattern awareness. So for my client, for example, her business system was pointing to where the misalignment was. The misalignment was that when we looked at actually what type of marketing she liked to consume and how she liked to be enrolled for programs, it was in having conversations, it was in having live events. And when we shifted that, she started to have greater conversions. The weeds will come through. So symptoms are like the leaves and the stems of weeds. If you rip off the leaves, and I've been doing a lot of weeding, so there are probably going to be a few weeding metaphors over the next few podcasts, just because we have a lot of weeds that we need to weed, and it's very therapeutic for me to go out there with my boys and just, tend to the garden. We're building a pollinator garden in our front lawn. And so when we're weeding, if we're ripping off those leaves and picking up the stems, that's great, but those weeds are going to come right back the next year unless we rip out the root. The surface struggles, the symptoms of your problems, those are the leaves. The subconscious beliefs and the deeper business patterns, those are the roots. Having discernment means knowing when you need to dig deeper. And if you're not seeing results from certain patterns, from certain strategies, then that is when you need to dig deeper. And so your inner language, so a trick to digging deeper is looking at your language around it and looking at your energy when you assess the thing that you're doing. So for me, I was super excited to dive in today with my daughter and her bouncer while my boys are at gymnastics and doing their daddy-son dates, to just dive into podcasting. Like that, I was genuinely excited to batch record a whole bunch of episodes for y'all. Had it been like a different strategy that I needed to implement, I'd be like, nah. So your language will often reveal root level beliefs. So I want you to listen for belief systems like, I always mess this up. This is so hard. I just need more time. I can't be consistent. This is a struggle. These aren't surface complaints. These are identity coded beliefs that we need to take a peek at to see, like, what are those surface struggles that are echoing a deeper problem that is a deeper problem from within. And when you can look at those deeper problems and uproot the problem from the roots and get to that root cause of the problem, whether it's your marketing strategy being misaligned, whether it's your human resources strategy being misaligned, whether it is the fact that you have some weeds that are popping up in your own self-confidence and in your tactics. Another way that I see this is people solving the problem of visibility by posting more on social media. And I laugh because I did it too. And I'm like, okay, social media is, the way you're using social media is like an advertisement. It's advertising. It's not actually social media. Social means communicating, means getting into the comments, means talking to other people. That's what social means. It's not just posting stuff online. So when people have a social strategy and they're like, it's not working, I'm posting all the time, then that's when I'm like, well, let's get to the root of what's not working. And what's not working is you're not being social on social media. You're just posting, but you're not engaging with your audience, nor are you building community. And so the subconscious root then is actually, it's not the problem isn't you posting on social media. The problem is you don't have a community. You aren't building a community within social media of like-minded people into your content and your work. So those are the deeper weeds that you need to focus on rather than the surface level leaves. So with that, I want you to listen not only in your own language, but in the language of how you're framing the problems in your business, and look at where are those core identity business problems, those core marketing problems, those core offer problems. Maybe your offer just isn't aligned with where you're at anymore. I had to look at that hard with the Communication Queens agency. Our agency and done for you services were no longer aligned with where I was going in my life and business. And that's okay. you got to look at your life and your business and your energy and see where are you treating symptoms instead of healing systems. What is the pattern behind the problem? What kind of person are you being when the problem shows up? Because honestly, when you look at any problem, it's just data. Like I look at all the symptomology as just data. And then when you have the data, you can then analyze it and say, okay, oh, this is a problem because I'm actually not trusting myself enough. Oh, this is a problem because I'm posting online, but I'm not actually building community and relationships. Oh, this is a problem because I'm actually operating from a third party's perspective of what I quote unquote should do rather than how my soul likes to be converted and how my soul and energy likes to feel nurtured and supported in a marketing funnel. All of those are questions that allow you to look at, are you looking at the symptom of the problem or are you actually solving the problem? And if you need support in solving the problem, and if you're like, yeah, I'd actually like to solve these problems instead of just healing the symptoms or taking a pill for the symptoms that actually creates more problems, then, and I mean the business pill, I can't help you medically, and then come on over and book an Ascension Acceleration consult with me where we will access and assess 5 core business problems that you're having and develop 5 subconscious success strategies that are based on your subconscious success strategy. Not mine, not what I say you should do, but how you actually do things that are in alignment with who your highest and best self is. And when you do those things, you will see an incredible rate of return. I will also give you a power to profit plan that can increase your sales up to 300% in the next 12 months. So if you're like, oh my gosh, yes, queen, I need in. I have a few spots left for this month for consult calls. Make sure you register in the link below, and I will see you in the next episode. Until then, as always, my fellow sovereigns, own your throne, mind your business, because your reign is now.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If what you heard resonated with you, be sure to subscribe and start creating a bigger impact now by sharing this with a friend. Just by doing that one simple act of kindness, you are creating a royal ripple to support more people in their sovereignty. And if you're not already following on social media, connect with me everywhere at crownyourself.now for more inspiration. I am so excited to connect with you in the next episode. And in the meantime, go out there and create a body, business, and life that rules. Because today, you crown yourself.